I'm going to help you confidently communicate with courage to your clients. And it does help if I had my microphone actually in front of my face instead of swung off to the side. So, what I said, and you may not have heard, is that today we're going to talk about the 5 different crucial conversations that you have to have with different segments of the market. I'm going to give you some scripts for those that need some guidance in what to say. I can't help you with your individual forms. Talk to your broker about that. Not just every state, but every real estate board seems to like making their own different forms, and then each broker is entitled to make their own forms as well. So please go to your broker for that. But then I'm going to give you some marketing strategies on how to communicate this. I'm going to give you access to my AI Chatbot to do it all and make it better yourself. And then I'm going to give you an entire script book. But you got to stay to the end. Okay. So if you know somebody that you feel could benefit from what we're talking about today, message them this live stream right now or tag them in the comments. And if you have questions as we go, please, if you're watching this on Instagram, you can hit the arrow in the lower right-hand corner, and that'll send it via direct message to people. If you're watching this on Facebook, you can tag somebody in the comments, but you could also send it to them via Facebook Messenger. If you're watching this on the playback, you can also send it to somebody or tag them in the comments. All right, so let's get started. Let's break up first the segments, the different people that we need to communicate with, right? In my mind, and you may have more than this, but it's my show, so I'm going to tell you what I think. You have 5 different groups of people that you need to talk about what's happening, okay? First group, obviously, is sellers. You need to have a conversation with sellers, not just people, your current potential listing, like listing appointments that you go on, but also people that you think are thinking about selling, but also your past clients that you have sold their homes, because past clients that you have sold their homes are likely to use you again. So you want them to hear the information from you. So that conversation with sellers can be, just communicating exactly what it means, how it benefits them. The great news is you don't have to compensate a buyer's agent, but you never had to anyways. But now we're going to more clearly communicate how that could work, right? It's not like how it must work. It's not how this is the standard. This is what everybody's doing. Here's how it could work. And I'm going to walk you through this because I created all this. Well, it started here in my brain, and then I go down a rabbit hole and I go, how can I make it better? 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 And so then I went, okay, here are the different groups you have to communicate with, but then I created scripts for each group, and then I created marketing pieces for you for social media to communicate to all these people. Okay? Now, I'm going to share my screen, and for those that are on Instagram, you're just going to have to listen to me, or you can go to facebook.com/JManSpeaks. Okay, 1 second. Boom. Okay, so conversation with sellers. And actually, I'm going to move my head over just a little smidge over to here, this corner. Okay, moving to that corner. All right, so conversations with sellers, explaining the market changes, compensation options, and strategic considerations. Now, compensation options are important because it's different. That part of it is going to be different, right? You have compensation that you're going to be offering for a buyer's agent. Then you have compensation for dual agency if you have that in your state. Then you have compensation for dual agency with designated agents if you have that in your state. And then the third one, which is very different, which you may not have ever done in your entire real estate career, is compensation for working with an unrepresented buyer. Okay, I'm going to say that a little slower. Compensation for working with an unrepresented buyer. So that's a buyer who maybe interviewed a couple buyer's agents. They were told that they had to come out of pocket to pay the compensation. Maybe they can't afford it, don't want to afford it, don't want to pay it. And so they decided to go around to open houses, and if they see a property that they like, they're going to write an offer with the listing agent. Okay, now you can work with them, again, depending on your agency in your state. I'm in New York State, so I would remain a seller's agent and work with that buyer as a customer, right? Which means my fiduciary duties are to be fair and honest. All the rest of my fiduciary duties, CC load, care, confidentiality, loyalty, obedience, accounting, and disclosure, are to the seller. That remains the same. So what that means to the seller, and I'm not going to tell you whether you should give a discount, make it less than what you're charging. It's entirely up to you. All those scenarios, whatever you want to do, but explaining all the scenarios so that when it does happen, if and when it does happen, it's not a surprise. If you don't bring up that unrepresented buyer, then when the buyer comes to you and wants to write an offer, the seller's going to be like, well, we didn't talk about this. Well, you should have, because it's on the brand new listing agreement that your real estate board created. Okay. So as we look at this, again, I'm just giving you like, these are bullet points. I'm summarizing the bullet points if you're watching this on Facebook. But if we choose not to offer compensation, you know, I like to say it may increase the total cost of acquisition. Or if we're saying, you know, I had this conversation with an investor client the other day. Well, I'll wait till I get to the investor client, but total cost of acquisition or their closing costs, the total amount of money it takes them to purchase your home, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Okay, next, conversation with buyers. And don't worry, you don't have to take copious notes, I guess. You could take notes as I mentioned things, but I'm going to give you all this for free at the end, but you have to stick around, okay? Conversations with buyers. Now, of course, you're going to start out with talking about the market and financing opportunities, and then new compensation responsibilities. You see here, it says introduction, buyer's responsibility. You know, in my script that I'm giving you, I go over 3 scenarios. Here's 3 scenarios. My compensation is this much, and there could be 3 different ways that that could work out. We could approach a potential property that you're interested in, and the seller is going to fully compensate me for that amount. I work it right into the transaction. Everything works great. Second scenario, we go see a property, and that seller is offering a compensation that's different than the compensation that we have already agreed upon. It could be less, and what I'm asking for is more. So the difference in that, I could still negotiate with the seller and see if they're willing to offer more compensation, and that's written into the offer, like I said, or ultimately, you would be responsible for the difference. Are you comfortable with that? I think it's important to pause here and have a substantial conversation with your buyer. Because if you just glaze over, oh, don't worry, we'll work it into the transaction because you're scared to say you're going to have to pay it. Well, what if the seller, worst case scenario, right? The seller adamantly says, no, we don't care. We're not paying it, period. I don't see a lot of scenarios where that may happen, but it's important that you discuss with them like, hey, could happen. Ultimately, would you be okay with that? Is there a way that you can find to take care of my fee for service as well as your additional closing costs and prepaids? Third scenario, seller is not offering anything. Okay, in which that scenario, again, everything is negotiable in real estate. There is no standard of you know, if the seller says they're not going to offer something, then you would be responsible for my compensation. But depending on market conditions, depending on competition, right? If a seller comes to us and they say, hey, we'll take your offer for $400,000, we're not going to offer any kind of compensation. Okay, well, you've just told me what your bottom line is. So if I took your amount, right, you're telling me that's how much you want to net after paying your seller's agent, which I don't know what that amount is, but it doesn't matter. Then on top of that, my compensation would be allowable. Don't you agree? Right? I'm not going to give you a number because there's no standard rate. You're not going to get me today. With me so far, right? 3 different scenarios. So that's conversation with buyers. And actually, we haven't gotten into the scripts, but if you look at then conversations with investors and with buyers, it could also be similar, because if I'm in a multiple offer situation and I know there's competition and my buyer can afford it, or maybe I have a cash buyer, they're going to be excited to pay me directly. Why? Because it makes my offer better, right? Everything being the same, somebody else wrote an offer for $400,000. They're including their compensation in there. My offer is also for $400,000, but the seller doesn't have to pay me. Well, the seller is netting whatever my compensation is more, everything else being the same. So in that kind of a scenario, if I have a cash buyer or somebody with a substantial down payment, that's the better way to go, right? That positions me for success, makes me more competitive in the market. So that's a benefit to a buyer in having to pay me. Now, investors, we love our investors, right? I have some clients that I've worked with for almost 2 decades from when I first started in the business, been in the business 19 years. The investor conversation could be a little bit different, right? If they're a seller, I had a seller recently who was flipping a home and he goes, "Hey, I heard something about I don't have to pay a commission anymore." Well, you never had to, but why wouldn't you? Well, I want to make the most money possible. Okay. Well, the total cost of acquisition, we're in a first-time home buyer price range. That first-time home buyer scraping the money together to buy their first home with how competitive it is where we are. So if we increase their closing costs or total cost of acquisition, they're having to pay their buyer's agent plus their down payment plus their closing costs. Our property, if we're not offering to help them, will become unaffordable. So now we've reduced the buyer pool, the available people that are there to buy our, potentially buy our home, that can afford to buy our home, right? We're not saying anything about we're motivating agents with money, we're motivating agents with compensation, because we have to, as far as the code of ethics is concerned, realtor members cannot not show a property based on compensation, whether we're being compensated or not. So there's no way that you can filter. There's no way you can not send every available property that meets your client's criteria to them. You can't filter out the ones that don't have compensation. That will not be allowed. That will be a violation of the code of ethics. Okay? So let's keep that clear, my friends. Now, conversations with consumers. I think it's important that if you're talking with the public, I just had this conversation. We were away at camp last weekend, and one of the neighbors, a good friend of mine, John Carlson, he bought like a piece of property next to me, and so we're riding around the golf cart. We go see this other neighbor, and he starts talking about real estate, and man, I heard there's all these changes. Those real estate agents make too much money, anyways. And I was like, oh, this is going to be good. And I just sat quietly and listened. And then, of course, my friend John goes, "Oh, he's a realtor. He makes too much money." And I'm like, "Do I though?" Let's talk a little bit about what the lawsuit was and what happened, and then give them factual information. Because we know news media, they got clickbait stuff that's not true, blatantly not true, misrepresentation of facts. So give them the facts, what it means, some of the important changes, the impact of compensation. And my discussion is always like, this is great. Like, what do you mean? Well, anytime I can more clearly communicate with my clients, right, more transparency, make them more comfortable about how we're compensated and how that's handled in the transaction, right? If you ever bought a home in the last 10 years and you didn't have a good buyer's agent that communicated how they got paid, there might have been some awkward moments where a buyer's like, do I have to write a check? Do I have to pay you? Because they don't understand. They never understood how it works. And now we're just communicating more. And anytime I can communicate more and give my client a better understanding, it's better for everyone. Okay. Last one, conversation with all clients. So this is past clients where you would go, again, sellers, buyers, family members, right? If you're doing a client appreciation party, it's a little bit different of a conversation because you've done business with them already. So it's like, I know in the past, this is how we did it. Commit. And I don't know if you remember, but I did tell you at that point that, all commission was negotiable. There was no standard rate, and that we're free to compensate people however we'd like to, whatever you feel is in the best interest to reach your real estate goals. Okay. I say okay a lot, don't I? I guess I do. Okay. Conversations with all clients. So here it's like introduction. To give you peace of mind, I've dealt with market shifts like this in the past, right? I've been in business 19 years. One thing I can guarantee is that real estate will always be changing, but call on the Monero team because we're your architects for the American dream. When things like this happen, we're able to explain to you easily how it's to your benefit and how we can position you to the very best way to achieve your goals, whether you're a seller, whether you're a buyer, or whatever you're doing. Again, if you're watching this on Instagram, hop on Facebook. We're sharing a screen with some scripts and things like that. But if you stick around to the end, we're going to give you all these scripts and more. Okay. Now, I was thinking, as I wanted to get better, or I wanted to go deeper down the rabbit hole, I'm like, just giving you what to say is not enough. Okay. Make sure I got this. Yeah. Just giving you what to say was not enough, because then I'm like, okay, well, then I'm seeing agents writing Facebook posts that are, as my youngest son would say, cringy. I'm like, that's cringe, right? I'm like, I don't like that post at all, but I'm not going to comment. I'm not going to say anything. It's already out in the universe. It's not my agent. I'm not a broker. So let it go. Let it go. So if I go Facebook posts, right? And the way I wrote this prompt was, I want to post something that is informational, educational, but also incites additional engagement, right? I want to say, hey, you got questions, reach out. I don't want to tell them everything about it, because they're not going to understand everything about it, because you don't understand everything about it, maybe not yet. So what I want you to do is, it's a short, punchy post, which is informational. There are some changes happening in the real estate industry, right? You see this and the way I structured it is, it's going to be different for each platform that you're posting on, not the same. But for Facebook, important update for home buyers and sellers. The real estate world is about to see some big changes starting August 17th, particularly in how agent compensation is handled. Want to know how this might affect you? Let's chat. Drop a comment below or DM me to schedule a quick call. Short, to the point, little teaser, but reach out to me. I want to have a live conversation. I don't want you to read a static post that can't be changed and formulate your own conclusion about it. Instagram. Real estate alert starting August 17th. The way agent compensation works is changing. Swipe left to learn more and hit that message button if you want to chat about your options. So this could be a carousel post, right? First one is like you going, like some kind of face, like alert, right? Real estate alert. And then swipe right, a little bit of information, a little bit more, but always reaching out to you for more options. AI image prompt, a modern home with a sold sign in the front yard with a calendar showing August 17th highlighted. The image should have a warm, inviting color scheme with dollar signs subtly incorporated. All right, next we have TikTok. Quick update. Big changes are coming to the real estate world on August 17th. You might be wondering how this could affect buying or selling your home. Let's chat about how you can stay ahead of the game. Short, simple. LinkedIn posts. Real estate professionals and clients, take note. Significant changes to agent compensation structures take effect on August 17th. These updates are poised to alter the landscape for both buyers and sellers. Threads, if you're on there. Meta's version of X. Heads up, starting August 17th, real estate transactions getting a shakeup with new rules around agent compensation. Want the details? Let's talk. YouTube Shorts, you get the idea, and then X. I think I covered everything there, right? Now I go, again, one more step. I got my social media. What's next? Emails to existing clients. Important update. Here's the body of it. I hope this email finds you well. I want to share some important news that could impact your real estate transactions. Starting August 17th, significant changes. These updates may affect buyers and sellers. Text message. Hi. Boom. Real estate rules are changing on August 17th, especially regarding agent compensation. Let's chat soon to discuss how these changes might affect you. Postcard. Snail mail. Okay, you see I'm hitting air, land, sea, all of everything, every which way I can, so that I can get people to communicate with me and ask me more questions. Front side of my postcard would say, big changes coming to real estate on August 17th. A stylish modern home with a sold sign in the yard is the visual element. And then the text says, starting August 17th, new rules on agent compensation could impact your next real estate transaction. And then back of the backside is, what do you need to know about the new rules? Call or text me today. A modern home with a sold sign in the front yard highlighted with, okay? Sweet Caroline. Do we have any questions so far? I'm going to come back over here because there's a couple other things I want to talk about. Now, I'm going to give you access to my AI chatbot. You're going to go to jmanabot.com. If you look above, well, if you're on Facebook, it's right there. jmanabot.com will give you access to that. Because this is where I wrote all of this. So what I'm going to give you, you're going to go in there and say, what did I name this? Settlement Communication Kit. Okay? Settlement Communication Kit. Settlement Communication Kit. Okay? Too many MCs, not enough mics. Okay. Hollow. Okay. So once you have that, you put in there, like I said, I created a Google Doc. It's just going to give you access to the Google Doc. I'm adding things to it, but you'll have the 5 crucial conversations that you need to have. You're going to have possible, hey, look at that, possible scripts that you can use to guide you with those conversations. You're going to have short and easy marketing packages for social media. You're going to have an email template that you can send to your client. You're going to have a text message template that you can text your clients. And then, what was the last thing? Am I missing anything? Oh, the direct mail, a direct mail piece that you can send out, just a nice, easy postcard that you can send out to your clients. Now, lastly, I think what I wanted to talk about is the bot. The bot. Here, let me just show you how this works again. Okay, this is I've given you access to this JMan bot. Okay, now if I go here and I say settlement communication kit. What I called it? Pretty sure. Let's go, my friends. Again, if I'm sharing my screen on Facebook, so if you're watching this on Instagram, hop over. Oh boy, failed to fetch that response. Let me refresh 1 second. Settlement communication kit. Woo! There we go. Sometimes it just requires a refresh. So if you just type that in, I've already added this to the knowledge, but it says here's a complete guide to help you communicate with settlement to the world. You can access the full document here. In there, you just have, do you have the scripts? Let me see what's in there right now. Done. Yeah, I'm going to be adding to this after I stop the live stream, but there's much more. Script 1, scenario 1. I have a lot. Okay, but it's going to be even better because that's why I make it a Google Doc, so you have access to it. But if you go there, that gives you everything. Implications for home buyers and sellers, settlement details, and the information that's gathered here came right from facts.realtor, where you can get the most up-to-date information on what NAR is saying in regards to the settlement. But please, in the comments, if you could, just give me something that you would like a script on, right? Say like, I am working with a client and I'd like to know what to say in this scenario. And while I'm waiting for you to type something, I'm going to make one up because I feel like this is probably the one you need to use right now. I am currently working with a buyer. What should I say about having them sign the EBA? Simple, right? I'm working with a buyer currently. I'm currently working with a buyer. What should I say about having them sign the exclusive buyer's agreement? Question mark. Oh, I like that. All right, so on Instagram, we have, I like a brief synopsis of the lawsuit. Synopsis, Julie, that's a great one. Synopsis of the lawsuit in a few sentences that's easy for the layperson to understand. Okay. First, look at this script that was written. Hi, I want to talk to you about something important that will help us work together more effectively. It's called an exclusive buyer agreement. Here at ABC Realty, we use buyer agreements to ensure that we can provide you with the best possible service. If you're ready to move forward, the law here, buyer agreement to represent you. I wouldn't, if it's not law in your state, it's not law in most states. That's one thing that I would modify here. If you're ready to move forward, my broker is requiring that we have a buyer agreement to represent you. Let's go over the difference in the services I can offer you, depending on whether you're my client or my customer. And that's where you got to go into the difference between client and customer, fiduciary duties, those kinds of things. And do an actual, if you need to, do another buyer presentation to establish what your unique value proposition is. If you're not ready to sign, that's okay. Ultimately, having this agreement in place ensures that I can fully represent your interests and provide you the best service and support. That's really great. I think that's perfect, besides what I mentioned. Okay, now let me say, summarize the settlement into a few sentences / talking points to be clearly understood by consumers in a casual conversation, right? I think that's what you're saying, Julie. Casual conversation. I really like that. And keep in mind, if you did this with ChatGPT, you're not going to get the same answers because this is a GPT that I created and trained, and it has the entire settlement in there. It has frequently asked questions. It's trained at a much higher level for what we need to do and accomplish. So let's see what it says. Do, 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 do. Come on, baby, come on. Something else I want to show you. What happened? Man, I wrote a good prompt there too. Summarize. What did I say? Somebody please put what I said again. Summarize into a few sentences talking points for the consumer to easily understand in a casual conversation. Something like that. And let me fix this. I'm going to copy this in case it disappears again. Copy, and then I'm going to hit return. There we go. Hey, buyer's name. I wanted to chat about something called an exclusive buyer agreement. No. Oh, shoot. I messed it up. Summarize the settlement. Okay. See what, if you don't give it specific instructions, paste. Summarize the settlement. Okay. Casual conversation. Because I think the more casual you can make it, if you get really formal, like we have a I don't know if you heard about the lawsuit. There was a class action lawsuit in the Department of Justice. Don't mess with me. Oh my gosh. Internet's being a little wonky, so I'm going to do this one more time. But then we're going to come back to this and let that cook for a little bit. Give it a break. Summarize the NAR settlement into a few sentences. Okay. Do that one more time. This time I'm going to copy this. Copy, paste. Now, I wanted to show you what a real estate agent chatbot could look like, because we build chatbots. You just saw what we're building and giving to you for free. This is a great way to have a compensation conversation without having to talk to someone, but talk about value add, about providing more service, unique value proposition, just being that concierge that goes above and beyond and adds value to the relationship, right? That's what we want to do, because your fee for service, your compensation needs to be justified by the unreasonable hospitality that you're providing. So just look at this. This could be overlaid on your website, but it could be shared via text, via Facebook Messenger, via Instagram DM with a URL in your signature line, all kinds of ways. You could send it in a postcard with a QR code that goes to it. So let's just say if I went like this, what is my home worth? Perfect, right? We get that a lot. Buyer's agent compensation. What is that? Certainly. Our seller is willing to work with buyer's agents. Please rate your highest and best offer that may or may not include your level of compensation. We promise we will present it professionally and courteously. All compensation is negotiable. There is no standard rate. You thought that I would mention a percentage live? I don't think so, my friends. See how we handle that? Okay, we have a VIP client section. Wouldn't you like to be a VIP client? Okay, we're going to keep it going. Come on, baby, come on. Really kind of slow today. I think it's my internet. But you're going to write this down while this is working. JMan, all lowercase. These are your discount codes to get your own real estate bot. This is only going to be good for 30 people. JMan 400, JMan 200. Okay, our custom built chatbots, typically the setup, there's a lot of setup that's involved. JMan 400 is going to get you $400 off the setup for your real estate bot. JMan 200 will get you $200 off the monthly investment. Okay, JMan 400 for the setup, JMan 200 for the monthly. That makes it only $99 a month. I got no problem telling you what it is to answer all these questions. Okay, VIP. What happened? I never clicked it. That was the problem. Why is my internet so slow? Oh, okay, yeah. So we came back. I got lost for a second. Okay, recalibrated. So here's the few sentences that Julie was looking for. So the NAR settlement is basically an agreement to resolve some legal claims about how real estate commissions are handled. I would say real estate compensation because that's what they say in the settlement. It means that buyers and sellers still have choices when it comes to real estate services. Still have choices, not now have choices. One big change is that buyer brokers will need to have written agreements with their clients before showing homes. This helps everyone understand what services are being provided and for how much. Overall, it's about making things clearer and fairer for everyone involved in buying and selling a home. That's gold. That's amazing. If you stayed here this long, it was worth it, in my opinion. Okay, I like that. Any other questions? Let me see what we got on. We got one more here from Colleen. Colleen Cameron, where are you from? Will we be able to see the summarization of the settlement when we go into the settlement communication kit? Colleen, yes. What I just wrote here, let me just put this into the broadcast because I've been lazy with this. I'm going to copy this and then I'll paste it into the communication kit. That's why I gave you a Google Doc, because it's going to be made better after I'm done with this. Okay? So absolutely. But at any point, and this is why I'm giving you a document, right? At any point, what you can do is you can copy and paste everything that I'm giving you into the AI chatbot and say, can you make this better? Can you rewrite this script to include something else, right? First-time home buyers. Rewrite this script to include luxury home buyers. Rewrite the script to include whoever insert your ideal client here. So if I went all the way up, let's see. Where are we? The scripts. Oh, it wasn't on this one. Sorry. It's on this one. 1 second. We're going to go all the way up. Nothing can stop us. We're all the way up. Email, social media. And while I'm doing this, if you found this of value, please share this with somebody that you care about. And if you want us to do another one next week, which I still think it's needed, We'll go a little deeper. Text message. Go over here. Because I'm going to go a little bit deeper on the scripts too. These scripts were okay, but I want to do different scenarios. So that it's all going to be in the communication kit. I'm going to come back over here once again so that you understand. Can you cut and paste that into the chat, please? Julie, you're very demanding for free. Well, let me see what I can do. No, I can't because my phone is over here. I can cut and paste it into the chat on Facebook if you want to grab it over there. So let me go to where it was. Was it here? I believe it was here. So many tabs. This is a, yeah, it's this one. Maybe it's the third one. Third one's a charm. 1 second. Yeah, I'll copy and paste it into the comments on Facebook, but I'm going to add it to the communication kit. Okay, so you're going to go to jmanabot.com, jmanabot.com. Again, if you want your own AI chatbot to provide a higher level of service, you have 2 discount codes that I'm giving you. This is only good for 30 people. After the 30 people get it, it's gone. This is not a marketing tactic. I can't afford to do this for more than that. So it's JMan 400. We'll get you $400 off the setup. JMan 200 will get you $200 off the monthly investment. It's not a game, folks. This is a game changer. Jeremiah's JMan Monero. Please put any more comments in the chat. I'm so used to being on Zoom. I said in the chat. The sample letters. Esther, yes. So you're going to go to jmanabot.com. And again, if you came in late, I'll put it in the chat. Oh, there's the summary. I had to wonder which okay, I'll put this in the chat. But JMan, JMAN, a bot, BOT.com. If you're on Facebook, it's right above my head here. I'm going to paste it in there. That gives you free access. The difference between this and ChatGPT is that it's been trained on the everything on the NAR settlement. Okay, so Julie, it's JMan Speaks on Facebook, not my personal profile. Copy. This might be too much for a comment, but we'll see. Oh, did it work? Oh, shoot. All right. It's in the comments on Facebook. What I'll do is I'll repost this live stream onto Instagram. Oh, yeah. Look at that. It all worked on the Facebook. Any other questions before I sign off? Let's see. I don't see any. Nothing. Okay. Yeah, I'll add all the communication kit. This is Jeremiah's JMan Monero. JMan Speaks. If you found this of any value, please share this with a friend. Send it to them via Instagram direct message right now. I will post the replay. But if you're on Facebook, you could also share it. We're only doing this to help you so that you can better help your clients so that the real estate industry will be better. We'll all be better together. Everything's going to be all right. Okay, Jeremiah's JMan Monero. Make it an AI day.